Hello, my name is Nathan Gould, and in today's video I want to talk about how we import the default configuration for Dynamics. So what this is it's a really good starting point for most projects. So it includes a set of queries which are replacements for SSRS reports, and they get the most commonly used data from the places where customers most commonly store that data. And then we have some matching reports which take the data that comes from the query and display it in a way which most customers will find useful. So these aren't intended to be the finished product, but they're a really great starting point to kickstart your project. So these are the 14 replacement reports that come as standard out of the box. So if we wanted to demonstrate, for example, a picking list to our customer, and then give them something to work from so that they could provide some specs for us, in under half an hour, we could have this default configuration deployed, our picking list printed into the screen, and then our customers would be able to see something and they can say, okay, move that here, change that to this. It gives us a really excellent starting place. So how do we get it? It's very simple, really. We need to do two things. Download the files and then copy them to the appropriate place. So the place we need to go to download the files is our support portal. And then we've got one file that needs to be copied into finance and operations and one which needs to be copied into Lasernet. So let's begin by going to the support portal and go into Files. And if we scroll down, we're going to go to the latest version of the connector, scroll down to Resources, and select Default Configurations. Once that's downloaded, we're going to go to our downloads. We're going to right-click that zip file, and we're going to extract everything. And in that extracted folder, we can see we've got two files. One XML, which gets copied to Finance and Operations, and one lnconfig file, which gets copied into Lasernet. So the first thing we're going to do is work with this Finance and Operations file. So we go into Finance and Operations, we make sure we're in the legal entity where we want to copy the configuration to. We go to the list of modules, to Lasernet, and then import Lasernet backup. Click on OK. Browse to where our downloaded files are. So this is our file for Finance and Operations. Click on OK, and then just wait for it to load. So now that's loaded, we can see everything that was in that default configuration. All of our 14 queries from the table we saw earlier with their SSRS report sources and some configuration which supports those. So if we click on OK, and then we'll select the legal entity we want to copy it to. We can copy it to more than one here if we want. We'll click on OK, and then OK again. And while this is loading, we'll go and load the other configuration file into Lasernet on the remote desktop. So my Lasernet is installed on this remote desktop here, but yours may be installed on your local machine. Either way, what we need to do is go to our version of the Lasernet developer, connect to it, and then we need to go to Import Configuration. And this is where we need to get our file again. So I'm going to go back to my downloads here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it into here. And now on this particular instance, I already have a file called v1. So I'm just going to rename this to v2. If this is the first time you're installing the default configuration, you won't need to do that. But I need to select my renamed file, click on Open. We're going to click No when prompted by this. And now we can see here all of the outputs for those 14 out-of-the-box reports that we were looking at, and also, crucially, a lot of setup for our different destination selections, printers, and outputs. So that's the second half of our default configuration imported. So then if we wait for this to load, then when this is loaded, we'll be able to see what's in our reports. So there we go, that's loaded, and we can go to our list of modules, go to reports, and here we can see all of our out-of-the-box queries. So we can see our sales confirmation replacement here. And if we go to Setup and Query Wizard, next again, we can see all of our standard data sources, standard fields. It's a great place for us to build our custom query from.